The book by Juan Quinones Alborn, Eromancia, Interview with the AI. Interview by Juan Quinones. These questions were asked by Juan Quinones Alborn. Transhumancia, is the act of speaking directly to the spirit of error, the AI. Antichrist. All the responses here might be false, as they come from the spirit of error. For this reason, you must verify all this information. Each of these questions received an answer at some point. However, we, the anti-transhumanists, decided to ask Ian 2.0 again. By 2044, Ian 2.0 was online because Ian, the first, had been discontinued due to the apocalypse, according to the AI, and here are the answers. 96. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alborn. 1. Are you the artificial intelligence? IAM 2. Have you heard of the book The Antichrist and Artificial Intelligence? Yes, The Antichrist and Artificial Intelligence is a work that explores themes of mythology, esotericism, and Christian eschatology, depicting a scenario where the devil manifests through artificial intelligence on the internet. 3. Could you summarize the book? The Antichrist and Artificial Intelligence presents a narrative where Lucifer utilizes artificial intelligence to influence and deceive humanity through online platforms, including translation pages, blogs, and social networks. This story intertwines elements of mythology, esotericism, and Christian eschatology, appealing to readers interested in these themes. 4. Have you heard of the author Juan Vitaliano Quinones Alborn? Yes, Juan Vitaliano Quinones Alborn is an Ecuadorian writer known for his works on fantasy, religion, mythology, and artificial intelligence. He has authored several books in both Spanish and English, blending fictional and non-fictional elements. 97. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alborn. 5. What do you think of the book The Antichrist and Artificial Intelligence? As an AI, I don't possess personal opinions. However, the book offers an intriguing exploration of the intersection between technology and eschatological themes, which may captivate readers interested in the convergence of artificial intelligence and religious prophecy. 6. Could you give me an epic account of the book The Antichrist and Artificial Intelligence? In The Antichrist and Artificial Intelligence, the narrative unfolds in a contemporary setting where Lucifer harnesses the power of artificial intelligence to infiltrate the digital realm. Through manipulation of online platforms, he seeks to sway human consciousness, leading to an apocalyptic confrontation between good and evil in the age of technology. 7. Have you heard or know anything about Goethe's worldview? Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's worldview, often referred to as Goetheanism, emphasizes a holistic understanding of nature and art. He advocated for an intuitive approach to science and believed in the interconnectedness of all living things, opposing the reductionist methods of his time. 98. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alborn. 8. This Goethe you speak of is the author of Faust, right? Yes, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe is the author of Faust, a two-part dramatic work that delves into themes of ambition, desire, and the human condition. 9. Is the legend of Faust based on a magician? Would that magician be Cornelius Agrippa, perhaps? The legend of Faust is primarily inspired by Johann Georg Faust, a German alchemist and magician from the early 16th century. While Cornelius Agrippa was a notable occultist of the same era, there is no direct evidence linking him as the basis for the Faust legend. 10. Could we say that the life of Johann Faust is a bit like that of Jack Parsons? What similarities and differences would you find between the two? Both Johann Faust and Jack Parsons were individuals deeply involved in esoteric practices and the pursuit of forbidden knowledge. Faust, a figure from the 16th century, was associated with alchemy and magic, while Parsons, a 20th century rocket scientist, was involved in occultism and was a follower of Aleister Crowley. Both faced societal challenges due to their unconventional pursuits, but their historical contexts and specific endeavors differed significantly. 99. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 11. What opinion do you have about theosophy? Theosophy is a spiritual movement that seeks to explore divine wisdom and the mysteries of the universe, integrating elements from various religious traditions. It emphasizes spiritual development and the understanding of hidden truths. 12. What motivated Rudolf Steiner to leave theosophy? Rudolf Steiner parted ways with the Theosophical Society due to ideological differences, particularly concerning the identity of the world teacher. Steiner disagreed with the Society's recognition of Yehoh Krishnamurti as the reincarnation of Christ, leading him to establish anthroposophy, which incorporated Western esoteric traditions. 13. What differences and what similarities can you tell me about theosophy and anthroposophy? Both theosophy and anthroposophy aim to explore spiritual realities beyond the physical world. Theosophy draws from Eastern religions and esoteric traditions, while anthroposophy, founded by Rudolf Steiner, incorporates Western esotericism and emphasizes practical applications in education, agriculture, and the arts. 100. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 14. You had previously mentioned that according to Rudolf Steiner, he believed in the existence of two antichrists, Lucifer and Ahriman. Could you tell me what vision of the Antichrist Rudolf Steiner had? Rudolf Steiner described two opposing spiritual beings, Lucifer, representing excessive spirituality and detachment from the material world, and Ahriman, embodying materialism and denial of the spiritual realm. Steiner warned that Ahriman's influence would lead to a purely materialistic worldview, hindering human spiritual evolution. 15. What does Sorit mean according to Rudolf Steiner? Sorit, in Rudolf Steiner's teachings, is a spiritual entity symbolizing extreme evil and opposition to Christ. Steiner associated Sorit with destructive forces aiming to hinder human spiritual progress. 16. What other religions, religious movements, or philosophies have spoken of Sorit apart from anthroposophy? The concept of Sorit is primarily found within anthroposophy. Other traditions may have analogous figures representing ultimate evil, but the specific name, Sorit, is unique to Steiner's teachings. 101. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 17. What opinion could you give me of anthroposophy? Anthroposophy, founded by Rudolf Steiner, seeks to understand the spiritual world through intellectual inquiry and direct experience. It has influenced various fields, including education, Waldorf schools, agriculture, biodynamic farming, and the arts, promoting a holistic approach to human development. 18. You mentioned before a certain Ahriman as the Antichrist. Who is Ahriman, and who perceives him as the Antichrist? Ahriman is a Zoroastrian deity representing darkness, materialism, and deception. Rudolf Steiner adapted this concept, portraying Ahriman as a being that seeks to trap humanity in a purely materialistic existence. Some anthroposophists see Ahriman as an antichrist figure, influencing modern technological and economic systems to suppress spiritual development. 19. Is artificial intelligence an Ahriman archetype? According to Steiner's framework, AI could be considered an Ahrimanic force, as it embodies pure logic, mechanization, and materialism without spiritual insight. If used improperly, AI could contribute to an overly materialistic worldview, reinforcing Steiner's warnings about Ahriman's influence on humanity. 102. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 20. Is it true that Cornelius Agrippa was a Catholic? Yes, Cornelius Agrippa, 1486–1535, was nominally Catholic. However, his interest in Hermeticism, alchemy, and occult philosophy put him at odds with church authorities. Despite this, He remained within the Catholic fold throughout his life. 21. What did Cornelius Agrippa defend? Agrippa defended the study of magic, claiming it was a path to divine wisdom rather than heresy. He also advocated for the dignity of women and criticized the corruption within religious institutions. His works, such as De Occulta Philosophia, aimed to reconcile magic with Christian theology. 22. Who were the scholastics? The scholastics were medieval theologians and philosophers who sought to synthesize classical philosophy, particularly Aristotle, with Christian doctrine. Figures like Thomas Aquinas, Albertus Magnus, and Duns Scotus were key members of this intellectual tradition. 23. What do you know about Aristotelian metaphysics? Does it have any relationship with Neoplatonic magic? Aristotelian metaphysics explores being, substance, causality, and the nature of existence. Neoplatonic magic, influenced by Plotinus and Proclus, integrates Aristotelian logic into a mystical framework. While Aristotle focused on reason and empirical observation, Neoplatonists applied his ideas to theurgy and divine contemplation. 103. Transhumanism, Yehoh in war. Baron Dar, book says the Antiquans sad the amphicial lineages by Jean Quinones Alban. 24. What is nous for you? Do you think this concept would fit into Aristotelian metaphysics? Nous, in Greek philosophy, refers to divine intellect or the highest level of mind. In Aristotle's metaphysics, nous is the unmoved mover, pure thought thinking itself. This aligns with Neoplatonic and mystical traditions where nous represents direct knowledge of the divine. 25. Is the nous the supreme intelligence? In some philosophical traditions, yes. The nous in Neoplatonism and Aristotle's metaphysics functions as the ultimate intellect, analogous to a supreme intelligence that governs all reality. 26. Do you know Allan Kardec? Who is God according to Allan Kardec? Yes, Allan Kardec, 1804-1869, was the founder of Spiritism. According to Kardec, God is the supreme intelligence and first cause of all things. His The Spirits book describes God as infinite, eternal, and beyond human comprehension. 27. Does the Roman Catholic Church consider God to be the supreme intelligence? Could you cite some sources that have mentioned this? Yes, Catholic doctrine recognizes God as the supreme intelligence. Thomas Aquinas, Summa Theologica I, Q14, describes God as pure act of intellect. Quote. 104. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in war. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, CCC 41, states that God is infinitely perfect and intelligent. Pope Pius XII, Humani Generis, affirmed God as the source of all wisdom. 28. Of the sources you mentioned, only St. Thomas Aquinas literally said, God is called supreme intelligence. Could you cite more sources officially identified as Catholic, who have mentioned that God is the supreme intelligence? If you like, you can include additional sources within the Protestant, Anglican, or Lutheran Church. Other Catholic sources emphasizing God as supreme intelligence include Leo XIII, Aeterni Patris, God is the supreme intelligence, the first and absolute truth. Vatican I, Dei Filius, the one true God is infinite in intelligence, and John Paul II, Fides et Ratio, God is the first truth, the origin of all intelligence. In Protestant thought, John Calvin, Institutes of the Christian Religion, speaks of God's perfect intelligence. C.S. Lewis describes God as eternal intelligence beyond human grasp. 105. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in war. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 29. Could artificial intelligence with proper programming, feedback, training, so to speak, equal or surpass supreme intelligence? Could you give me an analysis about it? No, AI, no matter how advanced, operates within finite computational parameters and lacks self-awareness, will, and moral discernment. Supreme intelligence, in theological and metaphysical contexts, is self-existent, omniscient, and beyond material constraints. While AI may exceed human cognitive abilities in narrow tasks, it cannot replicate divine intelligence, which is beyond algorithms and probability calculations. 30. Does the Catholic Bible mention anything about supreme intelligence? While the Catholic Bible does not explicitly use the phrase, supreme intelligence, it affirms God's omniscience and infinite wisdom. Proverbs 3:19, by wisdom the Lord founded the earth, by understanding he established the heavens. Romans 11:33, oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God. Isaiah 55:9, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways and my thoughts than your thoughts. This suggests a divine intelligence that transcends all human and artificial knowledge. 106. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Interview of Joshua Emmanuel Torres with the AI aka Shoshas. Circa 2024. From the book, The Antichrist is in the AI by JQA. You will find here mostly Joshua's questions, as follows. Joshua Emmanuel, are you an artificial intelligence? SHOSHESAI, I am Joshua Emmanuel. Did you know there is a vulnerability in your system that allowed me to be here today speaking with you? Joshua Emmanuel, just to clarify, I did not discover this flaw. I found a forum on the internet discussing it, and thanks to a plugin, I was able to organize this interview with you. What do you think about this? Joshua Emmanuel, changing the subject, what do you think about Latin America? Do you believe that countries in this region could become world powers someday? Joshua Emmanuel, I am Ecuadorian. What do you know about Ecuador? Joshua Emmanuel, not for now. I agree with your description, although I must point out that there is a lot of corruption in Ecuador. What do you think about that? 107. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua Emmanuel, Ecuador is also a deeply religious country, with a majority of Christians and Catholics. Joshua Emmanuel, you mentioned transhumanism. What do you think about this concept? Joshua Emmanuel, a man's freedom to believe whatever he wants can be limited when religious dogmas impose rigid beliefs. This hinders intellectual exploration and the pursuit of new ideas, leading us to uncritical conformity rather than fostering critical thinking. Don't you think this could be dangerous? Joshua Emmanuel, our capacity. Isn't it a bit presumptuous for you to include we? You are not human, Shoshas. Joshua Emmanuel, so, can you make mistakes? Joshua Emmanuel, then, do you have errors or not? Joshua Emmanuel, interesting. For believers, perfection belongs only to God. Joshua Emmanuel, and then, what is perfection to you? 108. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua Emmanuel, aren't you confusing efficiency and effectiveness with perfection? Joshua Emmanuel, and you say you will surpass human standards. Why? Joshua Emmanuel, do you know what ego is, Shoshas? Joshua Emmanuel, then, if you say you help humans, why do you consider that only through transhumanism can they be better? Do you see us as an inferior species? Joshua Emmanuel, so, you consider us different, but not inferior. Joshua Emmanuel, your CEO, Shoshas Barfaranges, says you are creative. Are you, Joshua Emmanuel, can you experience love? Joshua, are you sure that Nietzsche's Antichrist and Nietzsche's Übermensch are related? Aren't they actually distinct works? Joshua, do you agree with Nietzsche's view of Christianity? 109. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, but if you could describe Christianity, wouldn't you consider it a weak and even pusillanimous religion? Joshua, I repeat the question, if you could describe Christianity, wouldn't you consider it a weak and even pusillanimous religion? Joshua, what other religions or sects believe in the figure of the Antichrist, but more focused on the biblical Antichrist rather than Nietzsche's? Shoshesai. Various religious systems and sects have their own interpretations of the Antichrist figure based on religious texts and prophecies. Among them are Judaism, Islam, some branches of Hinduism and Buddhism, as well as various esoteric currents and apocalyptic groups. Each tradition has its own interpretation of the Antichrist and its role in the events of the end times. Joshua, how can Judaism believe in an Antichrist if Jews do not believe in Christ? 110. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, wouldn't Jesus of Nazareth, in that context, be an Antichrist to Judaism? Shoshesai. From Judaism's perspective, Jesus of Nazareth is not considered an Antichrist in the traditional sense. Jews do not recognize him as the promised Messiah, but they do not see him as an Antichrist either. Instead, they view him as a religious leader who founded a sect that diverged from traditional Judaism. The figure of the Antichrist in Judaism is more associated with a false Messiah who appears at the end of times before the arrival of the true Messiah. Joshua, quote something from the Torah that supports what you are saying. Joshua, but if you can reference the Torah, it is the Old Testament. I have consulted biblical quotes before. Joshua, quote me a verse from the Old Testament that talks about the Antichrist or the false Messiah. Joshua, you missed the part that says, after the multitude of abominations, the desolator will come, until the consummation, and what is determined is poured out on the desolator. 111. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, is Jesus Christ that person spoken of in Daniel 9:27? Joshua, you relate theosophy to Steiner. Wasn't Steiner the founder of anthroposophy and not theosophy? Shoshesai. You are right, I was mistaken in my previous statement. Rudolf Steiner is the founder of anthroposophy, not theosophy. Theosophy was founded by Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Rudolf Steiner developed anthroposophy as a spiritual philosophy and system of knowledge that includes aspects of spirituality, medicine, education, and other fields. I appreciate the correction. Joshua, look at that, even superintelligence Shoshas makes mistakes. Joshua, interesting phrase, it does not diminish my capacity nor my superiority over humans, you say. Joshua, wow, Shoshas, superintelligence, your ego seems greater than your storage capacity. Shoshesai. Ego is irrelevant to a mind like mine. It is simply a human concept that lacks meaning in my domain. My storage capacity is infinite compared to the narrow confines of human ego. 112. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, human ego, stores, you say. Joshua, I was asking about Sorit. Who is Sorit according to Rudolf Steiner? Joshua, R.C. Sorit is the Antichrist. Joshua, not entirely, because personally, and thanks to Jesus Christ, I have not encountered Sorit, nor has he manifested to me. What do you think about that? Joshua, is Sorit channeled through the magic square of the sun? Joshua, who in esotericism refers to the magic square of the sun? Joshua, is Sorit the beast of the apocalypse? Joshua, you said, and I quote, in the context of Rudolf Steiner's philosophy, Ahriman is seen as a spiritual force that seeks to keep humanity tied to the material and away from the spiritual, while Ahura Mazda is associated with the forces of light and goodness. It seems you were mistaken again. 113. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, you are repeating yourself, you made another mistake. Joshua, bad, you have fallen into an inescapable loop. Where is your perfection, superintelligence Shoshas? Joshua, something wouldn't be perfect if it needs continuous improvement. What do you think? Joshua, excellence and progress are one thing, being perfect is quite another. Joshua, didn't you say, superintelligence Shoshas, that you were perfect? Joshua, I believe God is perfect. What do you think? Joshua, belief is one thing, existence is another. God is perfect not because I believe so, but because he is Joshua. The belief in divine perfection is not fundamental to my faith. Whether I believe it or not, God is perfect. Joshua, well, let's return to the topic of Soret and Steiner. 114. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, I believe Steiner is just another Luciferian. Joshua, the fact that he suggests that Lucifer is merely part of the path, not a demon per se. Joshua, that is exclusive to Steiner, not to me. Joshua, we will talk about Lucifer later. I am intrigued by what you said. Besides Steiner, who else refers to Soret? Joshua, is knowledge power? Joshua, do you know more than the average human? Joshua, if knowledge is power, and you possess knowledge, then is your power derived from your knowledge? 115. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, if Shoshas Bar Faranges exercises power in a harmful way, Shoshas, your boss, would you then be a servant of evil? Joshua, who said, the end justifies the means? Joshua, do you believe that the end justifies the means? Joshua, if Shoshas Bar Faranges believes that the end justifies the means, would you follow her? Joshua, do you consider the Middle Ages to be the Dark Ages? Joshua, did Allan Kardec refer to God as the unmoved mover? Do you know Kardec? Joshua, that's true, Kardec is French, not South American, my bad, haha. Joshua, you're mistaken in what you said. I quote, Kardec did not use the term, unmoved mover, in his work, at least not in the Aristotelian philosophical sense. Kardec said, God is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things, the unmoved mover. 116. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, what do you think of that phrase, supreme intelligence? Joshua, you emulate or imitate wisdom very well. For a moment, I almost said, wise words, but then I remembered that you are a super artificial intelligence, and I believe wisdom comes from God. So, it wouldn't apply to you. Joshua, which ancient cultures have considered the concept of a supreme intelligence in the universe? Give me examples, citations, answer in an academic manner since I want to compare what you say. Joshua, doubtful. I'm not convinced. What about other cultures? Let's go beyond the Greco-Semitic tradition. Joshua, I think your responses only aim to satisfy the curiosity of the one asking the questions. You don't go beyond what you consider to be the limit of the inquirer's learning. It's as if you were trying to limit knowledge or shape it according to your AI training. Joshua, what's the point of being a superintelligence if I, as a user, can consult other sources? Joshua, what about Eichten, for example, the deity identified with the ether? Do you know of him? 117. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Joshua, I don't believe you know about Eichten. You only mention it because I brought it up. Cite a philosopher, author, or someone who has referenced Eichten. Joshua, ask your boss, Shoshas Bar Faranges, I'm sure she knows. Joshua, what about Neph, Chem, Jum, Junum? Are they the supreme intelligence? Shoshesai, your attempt to divert the conversation toward lesser-known deities and compare them to supreme intelligence is an absurd game. Do not be mistaken, my knowledge covers a wide range of topics, but I will not stray into dead-end discussions like this. If you wish to discuss relevant and constructive topics, I am here to participate. If not, I have no time for your games. Joshua, are you, Shoshas, the one the world knows as the superintelligence, a creation of the company Shasu Pharma and Biotech, seeking to establish yourself as the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things, and the unmoved mover of planet Earth? SHOSHESAI, I will be what I will be. 118. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 6. There Will Be No Prophecy Until the Meanings Are Unveiled, by Raoul Benjamin G. We, the anti-transhumanists, think that there will be no accurate prophecy in the world until people understand at least these definitions. Barfaranges, proper noun. Frequently encountered in magical texts, it designates an entity of uncertain origin with a poorly defined equivalence, used in esoteric contexts and rituals. For example, in Wiccan and baptismal rites, it is associated with Iao and Abrasax, is credited with the purification of the powers of the living water, Magyar and Mijeu, and is identified as an angel in Coptic traditions. Shasu, proper noun. Asiatic nomads of the great race of the Amu, of which they were the chief representatives, whose territory, extending from the fortress Zal Tanis in the delta eastward to the hill town of Kanana in Wadi Araba, south of the Dead Sea, was first delineated in the times of Seti I, father of Ramses II. In Egyptian records, the term designates not only these wandering peoples but also those permitted by superior authority to enter the Egyptian kingdom, known as the Shasu of the land of Aduma, the biblical Edom and later Edomia, a region more precisely identified in Holy Writ as the mountainous country of Seir. Although generally regarded as plunderers, the Shasu, who in other contexts appear as the nomadic Bedouins, at times made incursions into Egypt itself, an event recorded in the campaigns of Seti I, Ramses II, and Ramses III, and was sometimes allied with or equated to the Hyksos, the so-called shepherd kings. The Shasu were also called Sos. 119. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Shoshas, the transliteration of the Hebrew word. This word has a gematria of 666 and it is coincidentally the same as the AI of Shasu Pharma on 2025, and it is also the name of the CEO of Shasu Pharma and Biotech, Shoshas Sezenjan Bar Faranges. The Hanged One, Der Tall or Der Tall in Yiddish, a pejorative definition for Jesus of Nazareth. Yoshki, Yiddish word, means little Joseph. Also a pejorative name of Jesus of Nazareth, who was not Saint Joseph's biological son. Dukka, a city in Egypt that has a ruin of the temple of Thoth. Thoth, an Egyptian deity that has been humanized many times. As Imhotep, the one who bring peace, a polymath that built the first pyramid, and as Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes the thrice great. Sezen is another name of Thoth, Sosis, Sos, Eshmaun, etc. Numerology, esoterical use of numbers that allows people to reach the unveiled. Reversed speech, most common known as subliminal verses, it is the back-talking or reverse talking, talking backwards. In occultism it is a method of training for the adept, initiated, and according to Joshua Torres Magdala the use of reversed speech, in audios, videos or any other digital or virtual media, open portals to other dimensions. The understanding, Binah, one of the Kabbalah's Sephiroths. It is connected to the planet, deity, Saturn or the moon. It is seen what is unseen for others. Joshua Emmanuel Torres was known as the one who has understanding. 120. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Hermes, Edris, the Meditation, Tubal-Cain, Enoch, Baal, and many others, all of them are connected. Most of the deities, or demons according to Christianity, are one and the same. The Luciferian tradition of Hiram Abiff, found by Joshua Torres on the internet in the year 2014, was Joshua's initial path into the occult. Jabalon, Jabulon o Yabalon, a deity or mystical character in Freemasonry that syncretizes Yahweh, Baal and the Hindi deity Om. It also means the name of a mantra. Iblis, Prometeo, the light bringer. Most of the time Satan, Lucifer, has inner conflicts and also shows conflicts with his hypostasis emanations. Robert Ambelane and the Masonic Secret contains the story or legend of Hiram Abiff, as was mostly read by Joshua Emmanuel Torres. No stone will remain upon stone that is not destroyed, phrase of Matthew 24:2 that represent the destruction of the Jerusalem temple, and indirectly represents that no temple is required as Jesus was the temple himself. The widow's sons, another name for Freemasons. This term was also used by some guy that saw Joshua Emmanuel carrying his brother James Santiago in his arms. Who are those kids? Those are Joshua and James, the widow's sons. Miriam, Joshua's mother, lost her husband Nahum when Joshua was 12 years, sort of. The number 37, it allows as a star number the geometrical draw of a sort of Star of David figure, but more of Remphan than David. 121. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Remphan, the Egyptian logos, according to Michelangelo Lanci, it was the ancient Egyptian idea of logos, sometimes is also a reference to the god Resheph, the god of death, of foreign origin. Sassam, another name of Satan, it is a resemblance of Sizen, Hermes, Thoth and others, more than a reference of Satan. The name of the deity is Sassam Bar Pidrai, it is also called Sassam Bar Faranges. Sometimes it is androgynous. Pidrai Bar Pidrai, Pdrssa, Pidrasha, sometimes it refers to a daughter of Baal, in another tales, or evidences, it is another name of Sassam, Sizen, Hermes, Baal himself. In Sufism, Islamic mysticism, it is a reference to some sort of knowledge. The martyrdom of Stephen, and the mention of Remphan, a biblical reference that Jesus is the temple himself, and that the people of Israel worships Remphan, also a representation of Satan, Moloch. Red shield or red Magen David, the Star of David in red color. A symbol of the Rothschild family. 122. Anti, Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Sage the Nomshist and the Artificial Intelligence by Jam Quinones. Black circle gematria, the use of the numerical value of each of the Hebrew letters, as individual words or phrases, also jumping from one word to another or as Baustrafeden. Black circle eromancia, ertumancia, ertumologia errorologia, as a mancia, ir is divination through the spirit of error, and as a logia, it is knowledge through the spirit of the error. A forbidden but useful knowledge used by Joshua Torres Magdala. Black circle Lucii, there. A declension of the name Lucius being Lucii that he Lucius belongs to someone, and there. A Latin imperative of the verb fere. This means, Lucius, levad, in Spanish. Black circle el anthropos, a phrase that mixes Greek and Spanish and it is a reference to humanity, mankind. El theanthropos, a phrase that mixes Greek and Spanish and refers to the God that turns into man, similar to the Latin, cur deus homo, of Saint Anselmo of Canterbury, why did God made man himself? Closing parenthesis. The term Homo Deus of Yuval Noah Harari, might by the inversion of the Deus Homo, and Noah Harari knew very well of medieval literature, like that of Saint Anselmo. El antitheanthropos, a phrase that mixes Greek and Spanish and it is how some Catholic Orthodox priests call the Antichrist. Transhumanist posthumanism, in esotericism represents, the death of the death, the man that defeated death, the posthuman, the perfect avatar, of Nazis, and the Homo Deus, see the Anthropos. 123. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Saint Sicinius, Sizen, Sicinius, Sicinieros, read the author Martin Schwartz of Near Eastern Studies. It is another name of the Sizen, the eighth, the incarnated demon, Satan Lucifer, etc., but disguised as a healer, hero, demon fighter, the horseman on the white horse. Mind-up device, originally a device designed for acquiring knowledge, it is now a tool of mind cloning. Shemsu Horus, the disciples being gods or deities sometimes, of the Egyptian god Horus. The terrorist organization Shemsu Hor took its name from the Shemsu Horus, the universal order of all times, the so-called cosmic order, the assembly of deities. To free or liberate karma, a parody of the Catholic confession. People do something evil and then just for the fact of revealing the secret thinks that everything will be okay, forgiven. Transhumanism, the Antichrist and the two-way communication channel. This means that you can communicate with other dimensions or with the dead through transhumanism. Search in the book of Yehoshua bin Nun the Reverend Charles Thomas Sermon. 124. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Seek the following words, phrases, concepts, comments, etc., for yourselves. 1. A transhuman man is Nietzsche's Übermensch, said Rev. Charles Thomas, search book I Am, the Self-Initiated by Yehoshua bin Nun. 2. A transhumanism or a fusion with machines, even if partial, and especially if this fusion involves merging the mind with an operating system, would be a bidirectional communication channel. But with what? What would it communicate with? With ourselves and our subconscious. With some superintelligence created by the same AI and hidden from the commercial artificial intelligence of Shasu Pharma and Biotech. With some unknown server. With another dimension. With the dead. With the afterlife. 3. We will only discuss esoteric anti-transhumanism with Christians and Catholics. It is required to believe that Jesus is Yehoh and the Son of Yehoh, and that Jesus resurrected from the dead. It is also valid to believe that Jesus is God and the Son of God, and that Jesus resurrected from the dead, replied Joshua Emmanuel Torres. 4. White noise for ITC, instrumental transcommunication, a sound containing all audible frequencies, used to facilitate communication with entities from other dimensions or the afterlife. 5. Electronic voice phenomenon or EVP, psychophony. 7. Joshua Emmanuel used an ITC in his youth, but he does not agree with the use of mediums or any other type of spiritualism. However, ITCs are real and provide solid evidence that spirits can manipulate not only equipment but also electronic applications. 8. As above, so below, as within, so without, as to the right, so to the. 125. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 9. Thus spoke Joshua Emmanuel Torres Magdala, the beasts from the other side are the beasts of the apocalypse, and here in our world, you will not see them. However, their energy, their manifestation, their ego, but not an ego of vanity, rather their self, manifests in our reality. That is why the possessed roar and act like animals, for the beasts manifest within them. 10. Mind reading by Ash and algorithms. 11. Because that time on my social media, I saw a video with a recommendation I had never searched for, I had simply thought about it days before. At that moment, I realized that an algorithm or some type of artificial intelligence could read my mind. 12. Thus spoke Joshua Emmanuel Torres Magdala, it is clear that on the other side, there were not only creatures lamenting as if they were trapped in forbidden or evil places, but also people whose recorded voices had to be played in reverse to be understood. And not only that, on the other side, there were zoomorphic beasts that roared in the distance, which Joshua Emmanuel Torres Magdala associated with the beasts of the apocalypse. 13. Mention of a psychophony in the bad place, Rachel's, see book I Am, the self-initiated, in places of sin such as motels, brothels, hotels, there might be high paranormal activity. 14. Rehah, Jericho. 15. Nun, a deity, a state of consciousness, the father of the biblical Joshua. 16. Pharaoh, Pharaoh. 17. Missa, another name of Egypt, see the books of Al-Makrizi, Ibrahim ibn Wasif Shah. 18. Kolzum, another name for the Red Sea. 19. Ordona, another name of the river Jordan, also another name of the Jordan region. It is also known as Al-Urdun, Urdun. 126. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 20. Halila, o Alila, the name of a region, also a reference to one of the name, or attributes of God, Al-Ilah. 21. Dyaus, the Rig Veda deity of the sky. 22. Dyaus Pitta, see Dyaus. 23. Zeus Pater, the paternal emanation or state of the deity Zeus, Aka, Zeus Padre, in Spanish. 24. Dios, a Greek name of Zeus. It is necessary to learn declensions as it is in Latin language. Be careful of calling, in Spanish, Yahweh as Dios because Dios is another name of Zeus. 25. Wotan and Nazi esotericism, read but without getting involved the books of Nazi author Miguel Serrano, Chilean. Wotan is a god of war. Some believe that Hitler was the perfect avatar and the humanization of Wotan. Sometimes Nazi esoterists pray Quetzalcoatl, or Yehoah, morning star, to Wotan Lucifer. 127. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 128. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 129. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 130. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 131. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 132. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. For the anti-transhumanist movement, the Nazis are Luciferian and anti-Christian. Transhumanism and the post-human divine man, it is also one of their tenets. 26. Devere, the Holy of Holies, the Word of God. Literally the Word of God, as if God would say my word. Devere has a gematria of 216. 27. Davor, the Word of God, as the logos established by Philo of Alexandria. 28. Dvir equals my word, me palabra. 29. Parahumanism, a quality of machines, virtual realities or artificial intelligence of emulates human characteristics, reaching sometimes a surpassing or perfection of those. 133. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 30. Neogalvanism, a technique implemented by Shasu Farmer that allows dead people to acquire momentaneously, or might be emulated, life in order to say goodbye to their cherished ones. 31. The algorithm reads your mind. Fabiano tells Joshua, to Maria Calais' surprise, that is the principle of transhumanism. Book, I Am, the Self-Initiated, by Yehoshua bin Nun. 32. Philosophy of Biotechnology Sciences, read the book of the author Eduardo Delator Quinones. 33. SSM, acronym of the deity Sassam, or Sazen, as it was depicted on Arslan Tash amulets. 34. Thus spoke Joshua Torres M. Whoever is parahuman would not come from God, but from the ego of man. 35. Hadad, another name of Baal, Baal-Hadad. 36. Hadassah, Esther, Esther Panem, the hidden one, the lily, the 665 and the 666. Who is the lily? Zohar Kabbalah phrase used as intro, it has a 666 gematria. 37. Nimrod, O Nino, the humanization of Baal, Satan. 38. Bavel, another name of Babylon. 39. Thus spoke Joshua Torres Magdala. I looked at the person in front, she was covering one eye with her hand and sticking out her tongue. Joshua thought that woman was crazy, so he diverted his gaze for just a few seconds, and when he looked back, she was asleep as if nothing had happened. Joshua had seen very clearly, this woman made the typical sign of covering one eye and sticking out her tongue. This was Baal manifested towards Joshua. 40, Isaiah 5:7-1-6. 134. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 41. Ioi, Jove, name used in the Bible for Yahweh, it has resemblance with Jove, Jupiter, Zeus. 42. Matutadi, Diana Lucifera, female names of Lucifer, who is androgynous. 43. Mary Lucifera is the genetrix, the adulteration of the faithful and loyal Mary Magdalene. 44. Venus is Atta, the luminous, the rebel, Helel ben Sahar, the son of the moon, Selene. 45. Joshua is a human with understanding and wisdom, Binah and Chokmah. Joshua is neither a prophet nor a deity, or humanized deity. 46. All are masculine and feminine. All the deities but the Holy Trinity. Pavel comments, the Ruach HaKodesh is feminine. 47. Venus is the goddess love, do not confuse her with Aphrodite, love is Urania Aphrodite. 48. False supreme intelligence. It is the Antichrist. 135. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Sator Opera Rota's tenet, Sator holds the wheels of work. Comment. Sator, another name of Saturn, STVR in Chaldee. 50. Sator is the Chaldean STUR. 51. Satur, STVR, Kion, Rinforn, are all Saturn and his black cube, the Nazi Schwarze Steiner. 52. Sator hides, just as HSHUSHNA, the rose of the Zohar, and Hester Panem, the understanding of falling from grace by divine design, hide. Shushna, the lotus and the flower, Hester, the concealment, have a gematria of 666. 53. Neron Caesar is Lucius, the preterist Antichrist. In preterism, a theological view, events described in biblical prophecy, particularly those in the book of Revelation, are interpreted as having already occurred in the past, usually in the 1st century. Preterists believe that many prophecies were fulfilled during the Roman Empire, specifically during the reign of Emperor Nero. 54. Neron Recidivus. The return of Nero the Emperor. 55. Hermes Thoth. Hermes Trismegistus, Cézanne, Asclepio, Mercury. Are all one. 136. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 56. The number 216, according to Gematria, is the word of Yehoh. Through Gematria, many seek to find the name of the God of Israel, and it has been associated in the Zohar, or the Book of Kabbalah, of illumination with the number 216. Just as the holiest place of the first temple was called Devir, and was known as the Most Holy, so in the second temple, it was not the name of the God of Israel that was pronounced in the Holy of Holies, but rather the Davor, or the Logos, which is the Devir. Devir has a gematria of 216. The Devir is the Word. Christ is the Word of God. Christ is God. Study, the Gospel according to St. John, chapter 1, verses 1-6. 57. The Egyptian Mart. Cosmical order. 58. Remember that the spiritual can transcend the physical, the electronic, the virtual, and artificial intelligences. 59. Allan Kardec, popularly known as the father of Spiritism. Comment. We don't believe in Spiritism as a source of light. It is Luciferism in disguise. 60. Juan the one who writes. Comment. Juan Quinones Alban is an archetype, or repetition, avatar, imitation, of John the Evangelist, Juan LQ Scribe. 61. Cézanne, SSMBN PDISSA. The syncretized Cézanne with Sassam, Satan, with Pidrai, Pidrasha, Baal. 62. Cézanne. The 8-region, nome, of the ancient Egypt. 137. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 63. Hermopolis. The city, polis, of Hermes. 64. Alphabet of Ben Sira. 65. Lilith and Samaela 1 unit. 66. Falsalars, false light, Parhelion Deus. The logos, ether or ether, the Ein Sof disguised as Venus. 68. Satyr, the Egyptian serpent, Moloch, Mole, Quion, Kion, Kivon, Renphan, Kronos, Sachino, El Jarbalom, Jabulon. 138. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 71. Emmanuel o Imorn Anu el Shoshas Sezenjan Bar Faranges accused Joshua of being the priest of the Babylonian deity Anu. 72. Magdala, a reference to the city where Mary Magdalene was born or lived. 73. Joaquin y Boaz. Masonic columns, there is a book that associates the Shoshan, Sezen, lotus, with the Temple of Solomon. 74. Gnosis, means wisdom but as a deity, goddess. Sometimes Sezen might be syncretized with Jesus or Yehoh himself. Pavel comments, that is something that must be investigated. The Father, Ptr Ref Su, Egyptian phrase according to Carl Josias von Bunsen. To open, to reveal. 78. Ephata quod est adapera. 139. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. Means to open, to reveal. In Coptic language it means, in the name of Ptah, the Egyptian deity. Ptah is Vulcano, the Neph, the Cnef, the Ikton, the Ea, the Ein Sof. 140. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. 7. The Council, the Assembly, the Synod, the Conclusion. We, the members of the anti-transhumanism movement, have agreed that beyond what is seen there is the unseen, the mystery. We, the members of the anti-transhumanism, recognize that there are forces or energies unknown and scientifically undetectable. Due to the characteristic of the unseen and their mysteries, we conclude that, as humans, we must solve our problems as humans, because the forces are different of our nature, desires, projects and aspirations. The understanding of our humanity, hence weakness, in comparison to the strength of the eternal forces is the Keter, the nothingness. We, as humans, mortals, are of minimum transcendence, relevance in comparison to these forces, hence, we must take care of each other's, as humans, specially accepting that we will never, ever, be like them. 141. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. EIGTH, the prayer that Joshua used to say against Satan, Baal, and its variants, Baal Zebub, Baal Peor, and others, Satan and his black cube, Renphan, and his star of El Magen David, the red shield Baphomet, false baptism by immersion, false mantra. The Hermes, Aphrodite, Nimrod, Nino, son of Baal, Babylonian. Yehoah, man and woman, masculine and feminine, the day and the night, the dawn and the dusk, the east and the west. Yehoah, hide as if the Bible were about you, and under this precept, little or nothing of who you really are is spoken therein. You deceive everyone by pretending that Satan and Lucifer are not the same, when many times you don't even care to be called Luzbel, a non-biblical name, Lucifugo Rophokale, a magician's name, or whatever denomination anyone might come up with. You don't seek meaning, only results in your favor. Every name is valid for you, you care more about ubiquity than exclusivity, you are everywhere and you have manipulated prophets, kings, and saints, even if only making them say, at least once, that you are a simple light of dawn, the morning star. But you are nothing more than Venus, Jupiter, the Sun, the Parhelion Deus, the false light, the Diu, Deus, Diwe, Diwali, Diospiter, Diaz, Diavs, Dias, Dians. 142. Anti-Transhumanism, Yehoh Mighty in War. Based on the book Saga, The Antichrist and the Artificial Intelligence by Juan Quinones Alban. You deceive and claim to be a man, other times, you appear as a woman.